The socio-psychological tradition is defined as someone's behavior is influenced by something else, or a variable. It could also be seen as a cause and effect platform, an impact on an individual when they come into contact with others. Emotional, cognitive, and personality traits of an individual could be studied and how these are influenced by those around them. Strategies such as using iMessages or attentive listening would be examples against this tradition because they focus on what an individual might do to engage effectively with another. An iMessage focuses on feelings or beliefs of the speaker rather than thoughts and characteristics that speaker attributes to the listener, turning it on to yourself. An example of this could be a couple fighting. One partner saying, "I feel abandoned when you come home late for work," and in him actually thinking, "Are you seeing someone else?" Overall, a person's personality will have an effect on their behavior. There are three branches of the socio-psychological tradition. The first branch being behavioral. Behavioral means the relationship between communication and behavior and a variable, or the person you are communicating with. The second branch is cognitive theory, how people acquire, store, and process information, and how that influences their behavior. And last, the third branch is biological. This branch shows how a person's personality, traits, behavior, and the way of thinking are from a neurobiological influence. I believe that one of the contexts of communication that connects to this tradition is small group communication. This is defined as gender and group leadership, group vulnerability, groups and stories, group decision making, and task difficulty. Small group communication involves working together for a common purpose or goal, focus on task groups, unlike a traditional family or friends, more people, greater the amount of opportunity for personal relationships. Some elements of small group communication include cohesiveness, synergy, networks, and roles. Cohesiveness allows you to function effectively and efficiently. In a group setting, causes more success for multiple group members. Synergy is the intersection of multiple perspectives in a small group. Networks are the patterns of interaction inside of a small group. And lastly, roles are simply defined as what job you have. I believe that a good example of socio-psychological tradition, along with small group communication, would be my team. From a tradition side of things, I believe that we feed off one another. When one of us is having a good game, we reflect their behavior because we are influenced by them and we seem to be happy. Also, due to prior knowledge, because we are with each other every day, we know what we can and can't say to certain people on the team. As far as the small group communication part, we are all working toward a common goal or a purpose, which is to win a championship and have a winning record. As well, we are all focused on the same task. Whether you're a position player or a pitcher, we all want to do the same thing. My name is Nick Parr, and I'm from the great state of Ohio. I was born right down the road at Crittenden Hospital here in Rochester, although I lived in Ohio most of my life. I grew up just north of the great city of Columbus in a suburban town called Powell. I have one sibling, a brother, who is 24 and lives in North Carolina. Both of my parents still live in Powell today. My dad is a huge baseball fan, which means we are a big baseball family. Since I can remember, I have had a ball in my hand. I started playing baseball when I was 5 years old, and I've been playing ever since. From t-ball to coach pitch to travel ball to high school ball, all the way to competing at the Division I level. I have grown as a person because of baseball. I've met people from all over the world playing the sport I love. It has made me a better person and made me realize how to be responsible. Baseball, for me, was going from a kid to becoming a young man. Baseball has shown me the way I view the world. I believe everyone has a purpose. People I have met have moved on from baseball and have found what they love to do. No matter where you start, it does not mean that is where you're going to end. The paradigm of what I view is that everyone here has to serve a purpose and influence many people along the way. I have experienced this through baseball but many, I believe, experience this in different ways. The positivistic or empirical approach is defined as assuming the existence of objective reality and value-neutral research. Methods of natural sciences with a goal of constructing general laws governing human interaction. A major aspect of this approach is a control. A control is defined as when a researcher makes an observation, he or she carefully structures the situation as only one element can vary. The goal of the researcher is to explain the world and why things happen the way they do. This approach is trying to find the meaning of the world by experience, thus knowledge of ontology, epistemology, and exology is needed. Within a positivistic and empirical approach, ontology is used with no free choice, meaning you are only to know the reality. Epistemology is used as theory first, due to the control in this approach, meaning that all is used is the existence of reality as well as the neutral research. Axiology is used that all that is worth knowing. When using this approach is based upon one study, that it could also make general statements about other similar cases. I like this approach because it allows you to make conclusions upon how you view it and when looking at reality. Throughout all of what I've talked about in this video, I believe that they all connect. It's all about the assumption of reality. When I talked about my worldview, I talked about my paradigm, meaning that I believe everybody has a purpose, just built on what I've known and what I've seen throughout my time on this earth. I believe the empirical approach ties right in with all of this, because it assumes the existence of objective reality, which is what you do and I do when we look at the world. Act toward one another because that's how you assume to act toward one another. Socio-psychological tradition explains this and ties right in with the reality view of the empirical approach. As I said before, small group communication fits right in with this. It shows that no matter how somebody is acting, that is what you know. You do not know what they are thinking. When acting in front of a team, you act happy, so everybody else acts happy. When acting around your family, it is the same way. Everything ties into each other by you looking at reality and assuming what you do not know, how someone is feeling, and how you should communicate with them.